Good morning. Now, Biden and Kishida discuss Japan's stepping up security. U.S. President Joe Biden and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida held wide-ranging talks at the White House on January 13th as Japan looks to build security cooperation with allies in a time of provocative Chinese and North Korean military action. The Oval Office meeting completed a week-long tour for Kishida that took him to 5 European and North American capitals for talks on his effort to beef up Japan's security. Beef up, yes. Biden welcomed Kishida to the White House on Friday morning for the Prime Minister's first visit to Washington since he took office in October 2021. Inside the Oval Office, the U.S. President praised Japan for its historic increase in defense spending and pledged close cooperation on economic and security matters. Kishida, speaking through an interpreter, said the two nations share fundamental values such as democracy and the rule of law, and stressed that their joint role on the global stage is becoming even greater. It all comes as Japan announced plans last month to raise defense spending to 2% of gross domestic product in 5 years, a dramatic increase in spending for a nation that forged a pacifist approach to its defense after World War II. Japan's defense spending has historically remained below 1% of GDP. And I think that's a good thing though. Biden administration officials have praised Japan for stepping up in the aftermath of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Japan was quick to join the US and other Western allies in mounting aggressive sanctions on Moscow. And Japanese automakers Mazda, Toyota, and Nissan announced their withdrawal from Russia. Kishida's sit-down with Biden is the final face-to-face in a week of talks with fellow group of 7 leaders that focused largely on his efforts to increase Japan's defense spending and urge leaders to improve cooperation. With Britain's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, he commented Japan's first defense agreement with a European nation, one that allows for the two countries to hold joint military exercises. Discussion. What are your thoughts on Kishida's effort to beef up Japan's security? Security, yes. How do you feel about Japan raising its defense spending to 2% of GDP? That's a lot. To do what? Would you agree that the US and Japan share fundamental values? What are your thoughts on Biden? Do you think he has been a good president? How would you describe your country's relationship with Russia before the invasion of Ukraine? Further discussion. What nations have been your country's closest allies throughout history? In your opinion, what is the most significant threat to global security today? Do you think the world has become less safe over the past few decades? Do you think war can ever be justified? If so, under what circumstances? That's a very hard question. The Japan-US relationship is the most important bilateral relationship for Japan. Yoshihide Suga, do you agree? Politics.